Up the play!
G'day guys, Nate here. One change for the preliminary final against Brisbane. Jeremy Howe returns. Will Parker dropped. Not Roan Steele, Will Parker. So got that wrong, but just the one change here. As expected, just the one change. I was expecting it to be Jeremy Howe in for Roan Steele, Will Parker to be the sub, but it looks like Roan Steele will be the sub for this game. Jeremy Howe to return. Again, I think it's 14 wins, 1 loss with Jeremy Howe in the side. We concede on average 66 points a game with Jeremy Howe in the side, 76 points a game without him in the side. So point of difference for this game. And also just for preliminary final week, we're the only team to make a change. Geelong and Hawthorn going in unchanged, Brisbane going in unchanged, and then there's Collingwood, one change. Always the case. We're always making these changes, but necessary changes here. Jeremy Howe in for Will Parker. Jeremy Howe will start on the bench, or he's named on the bench. Myercheck, McCreary, Crisp, Roan Steele on the bench, but I am expecting Roan Steele to be the sub for this game. Myercheck fit to play here. Dan McStay, Will Parker, and Will Hoskin-Elliott will be the emergencies here. Will Hoskin-Elliott was floated today as of this recording. I am recording this on a Thursday night. This will be uploaded on a Friday morning. Hoskin-Elliott was floated as possibly a tactical sub for this game. Bit unfortunate for Will Parker to be dropped here. Dan McStay will have to bide his time unless there's an injury here and we win the prelim final. So big opportunity still for some players just on the fringes of the best 23, but Jeremy Howe in for Will Parker. Consolidates our back line. We should be able to manage Brisbane's forward line here, the youngsters, Logan Morris and Ty Gallup, and try and manage their small forwards, Callum Archie, Charlie Cameron. Bit out of form in terms of kicking goals there, but Cam Rayner and Zach Bailey can go down forward and kick goals, can pinch hit in the midfield as well. And I do think our best beats anyone else's best left in it. Brisbane, Geelong, Hawthorn. If we can play our best here and against Geelong or Hawthorn, we can win a flag here. So it's on us. 8 quarters away, but most importantly, got to get through preliminary final week. Massive Saturday twilight game, massive Friday night game. 4 teams left in it. 14 teams watching on, but I don't think they give a shit. They're focused on Zach Merritt and their trade rumours there. It is what it is. We've got to focus on preliminary final week here as Collingwood supporters. Now, the glaring omission, or the player not named here, is Bobby Hill, and it's going to frustrate a few Collingwood supporters. I get it. It's justified. Do we die wondering without naming Bobby Hill? Who knows? We'll find out Saturday twilight, Saturday night once the game concludes. Now, I'm a fence sitter on this. I left it up to you guys in the comment section on a few videos. Does Bobby Hill play to Bobby Hill or not to Bobby Hill? And most of you guys said to Bobby Hill. But it's not to be. Craig McRae ruling him out. Training preparations were there. He was training, but there's the matter of being fit to play and fit to perform. He's not fit to perform, and maybe he's not fit to play either, but he's not officially ruled out for the season altogether. There could be one more week ahead, but that's all I watched this space. And really, it's just Bobby Hill from our best 23 on potential and best abilities, not in our best 23 here. Geelong, no Reece Stanley in the ruck. Hawthorn have a few injuries. Brisbane have a lot of injuries here. No Lockie Neal. I was fearing that Lockie Neal would make a miraculous recovery here, but not to be. They are going to be a little bit depleted in the midfield. They'll likely have a run with roll, possibly tagging Nick Dacos and also Jordan Ngoe. So got to look out for that as well. And also going to make sure our forward 50 entries do not find Harris Andrews. And if we find a target inside 50 where we're kicking for a set shot or just having a shot on goal, got to be accurate as well. It's either our forward 50 entries are better, but we can't hit it on the scoreboard, or our forward 50 entries are shocking and we kick a decent score or be accurate. But got to get those two connected together. And what a perfect time to do it on preliminary final week. But that's all in terms of team selections for the preliminary final here against Brisbane. I wanted to make this video to discuss just Collingwood preliminary final stories and just Collingwood memories and just my personal perspective, my own stories involved on this. I'm very grateful and privileged as a Collingwood supporter to be in my 12th preliminary final week. Massive privilege that is. Certain teams have only made a handful of prelim finals in my lifetime. Geelong have made 15 prelims in my lifetime. So to make 12 in my lifetime here and counting still, it's obvious that is just privileged to be the case. 6 wins, 5 losses, some epic wins, some epic losses, close wins, close losses, the agony, the ecstasy, the agony, the cocaine, the meth, the ice, and euphemisms and metaphors and whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. There's been a lot of prelims in my lifetime. Good, bad, ugly, magnificent. and I'll be attending my third prelim. I attended the 2019 prelim final loss, and I attended the 2023 prelim final win. So one win, one loss. Again, haven't lost a game sitting in the Olympic stand, so hopefully that continues. But again, just going back to the meat and potatoes of this video, I wanted to discuss Collingwood prelim final stories and just my recollection of these games. Now, I did watch the O2 preliminary final on replay in recent weeks. I do have the DVD of that game. Can't find it anywhere online, but got the DVD on eBay last year. The O2 prelim final, we won by 28 points over Adelaide, 13-13, 91 to Adelaide 9-9, 63. Adelaide were heading to this game 3 weeks on the road. They played round 22 on the road, an away game. They had an away qualifying final loss to Brisbane. Then they had a home semi-final win over Melbourne. They had to play that at the MCG. Then had to travel again to the MCG, facing us proper home game, that is, for us. And we won by 28 points. We overran Adelaide in that game. Uh, Good start. First 2 goals of the game. Josh Fraser kicking 2 goals here. He only had one kick in the qualifying final win, so they start the game with 2 goals here. Then Adelaide went on a bit of a run. They got out to, I think, a 4 goal lead late in the second quarter. Were able to get 2 late goals before half time through Nick Davis and Heath Scotland. I was about to say Nick Dacos, but Peter Dacos was commentating this game. The big focal talking point out of this game was Jason Cloke being reported for knocking out Tyson Edwards with a spoiling attempt. Bit unfortunate. He got him high, knocked Tyson Edwards out. Adelaide were depleted in this game. One of their, I guess, forwards or rucks were injured early on. Tyson Edwards was knocked out. Andrew McLeod doing his foot. But the main talking point of this game was Jason Cloke knocking out Tyson Edwards, reported. Bit of a news story throughout the week. Could we have won the grand final with Jason Cloke in 02? $64,000 question. Was Anthony Rocker's goal there in the final quarter? $64,000 question. Wasn't to be in 02, but a good run towards the grand final, finishing fourth, upsetting Port Adelaide in the qualifying final, then backing that up in a prelim final win over Adelaide. The best goal, clearly, Anthony Rocker's 65-metre bomb, and that's being harsh. It was fucking 85 metres. Rupert Betheris kicking a couple of goals. Glenn Freeborn kicking a good running goal. Josh Fraser kicked his 3rd goal in that 3rd quarter. Cole Steinford kicked a random goal as well. And then the final quarter, Nick Davis from the pocket and Alan Didak sealer with 5 minutes to go. Peter Dacos. Reality comes true. Collingwood's through to the grand final. Our first grand final in 12 years. That was the final series in 02. We won our first final, the qualifying final, our first final wins since 1990, that grand final. We lost the 1992 elimination final, 94 elimination final, then hadn't made a final in 8 years. Adelaide made their first final series this year in 8 years, got knocked down in straight sets, and we just made the grand final. We're on different levels compared to Adelaide. I don't have any memories at all of the 03 preliminary final win over Port Adelaide, 17-10, 112, the Port Adelaide 9, 14, 68. I guess the main focal point out of that game, and just on the result, was more Port Adelaide just bottling another prelim final, another final series. They got knocked down straight sets in 01 from top 4. Minor premiers in 02, we beat them in the qualifying final. They lost the prelim final to Brisbane. 03, they dominated the 03 season. Minor premiers, head and shoulders, minor premiers. Bottled the qualifying final against Sydney. I think that was more of an upset here compared to Collingwood's win over Port Adelaide. And then made the prelim, beat Essendon in both semi-finals, then lost the prelim to us here. And Mark Choco Williams, his spot was under fire. Couldn't make the big dance, unfortunately, in 3 seasons where he should have made the big dance there. But again, I have no memories of the 03 preliminary final. I do remember a couple of things. Josh Fraser kicking a cherry-picking goal. Someone, I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Ryan Loney. That's up his alley. Running through the midfield, 65, 70-metre shot from the centre square, bouncing through for a goal. Josh Fraser ran onto it and just got a boot onto it, kicked the goal. What a cherry picker that was. And Brodie Holland, what a random goal this was, had a set shot late 3rd quarter, took the mark, and some random Port Adelaide defender just walked through the mark as he was lining up and just picked him out a penalty and kicked the set shot. That's all I remember. Now, Leon Davis kicked a few goals, cemented his spot for the grand final in 03, but obviously wasn't the B next week. Anthony Rocker was reported in this game. I'm not too sure what quarter it was. It was in the 2nd or 4th quarter and missed the 03 grand final. Could we have won the 03 grand final without Anthony Rocker? No way. Ben Kinnear, Matthew Locken, Tristan Walker, just random Richard Cole, just random names, and it just, oh man, how the hell do we make the 03 grand final with that list? The best 23. We got smacked, a three grand final. Congratulations to Brisbane, back to back to back. But yeah, I have no memory of the prelim final in 2003. I do have a few memories of the '07 prelim final. We lost that game by 5 points, 13-9 87, Geelong 13-14 92. In my personal, humble, biased, not biased, but just my overall opinion, I think Geelong's '07 season goes down as the greatest season in my lifetime. I don't have any memories of the Essendon 2000 season. Geelong lost a few games early on, then went rampant, only lost one game from after round 5, round 6, and that was Dom Cassisi's goal with 10 seconds left. And obviously destroying Port Adelaide by 119 points in that grand final. But I like to think the '07 prelim final was the real grand final, losing to Geelong by 5 points, 50 metres away. Nathan Buckley's final game, James Clement's final game as well. Wasn't to be. We debuted up to 10 players in the '07 season. We finished sixth. We defeated Sydney in the elimination final comfortably. We beat West Coast in extra time in the '07 semi final without Chris Judd, Daniel Kerr, or Ben Cousins, and a few other players as well. But we got that win. Scott Pendlebury had a breakout final series in '07, and he's still playing to this day. Dane Swan had a breakout year. Dale Thomas emerged still. So our midfield group was young and coming through. Ben Johnson was reported for 6 weeks late in the home and away season. Paul Medhurst, first season at Collingwood, came through nicely. Alan Didak got in trouble off field, but still played the final series here. And I remember Alan Didak's bullshit goal late second quarter kept us in the game as well. Geelong could have run around or ran rampant in this game. Gary Ablett had a dominant game here, announced himself on the big stage. Didn't win the Brownlow a few days later. That belonged to Jimmy Bartell, but he won 2 Brownlows later on in his career. But couldn't contain Gary Ablett. We did contain a few other players, and I can see Geelong were nervous. And that's the thing with prelim finals. The heavy favourites heading to these games, they can choke under the pressure of expectations to win the game. And we were close, 50 metres away from beating Geelong. Now, go back and watch this game. Anthony Rocker takes a mark with, I think it was about 90 seconds left. Came down injured, couldn't take the set shot. Paul Medhurst takes the set shot. There's a moment in his run up, or lining up for it. 6 seconds goes by. The umpire stops because Anthony Rocker was still on the ground, so he had to go off the ground. But 6 seconds wasted off the clock because of muddling and the umpire not realising Anthony Rocker should have been off the ground or whatnot. Medhurst kicks the set shot. Final siren is in our forward 50 stoppage. If we had 6 more seconds, could we have won the game? Could we have had a hack kick forward and some random player like Didak or Guy Richards or Sean Rustling taking a mark and having a set shot after the siren to make a grand final? $64,000 question. Wasn't the B. That was a real grand final. Port Adelaide smacked North Melbourne in the '07 prelim, then get smacked themselves in the grand final. Wasn't the B. We did challenge Geelong in round 15 or round 16, whatever it was. It was a Saturday afternoon game. I was there. We did challenge them in the home and away season. We challenged them here in the prelim final. But we did face Geelong again in the '09 prelim final, and we got smacked 6-11-47 to Geelong 17-18, 120, 73-point loss, 87-point turnaround halfway through the first quarter to the end of this game. We started off well, kicked the first 14 points, 2 goals, 2 to start the game. I remember O'Brien, Lumumba's running goal early in the first quarter. I think it was on Gary Ablett or someone wasn't accountable for him. A good 50, 60-metre roost to start the game, and it was just all downhill. Couldn't contain Paul Chapman, kicked 5 goals in the game. Stevie J was kicking goals randomly. Ablett, dominant. I do remember Dane Swan. He surpassed the record for most disposals by a player in the season, so that was at the time. So congratulations to Dane Swan there. Wasn't a breakout year for Dane Swan, but he emerged fully as an A-grader and an elite midfielder here. But we lost by 73 points to Geelong. Geelong, St Kilda, the clear top 2 in this season. 2010, we're able to surpass Geelong and St Kilda here. The 2010 prelim final. Woody Pawn, right there. The greatest finals performance I've seen from a Collingwood team ever. Probably the best performance from a Collingwood side ever in my lifetime. Particularly the first 2.5 quarters, just magnificent. 18-12, 120 to 11-13, 79. The margin doesn't do it justice because we're up by 81 points halfway through the third quarter. 16-9 to 3-6 at one point. Pendlebury starting off well, kicking 2 goals in the first quarter. Ben Johnson running goal. Dane Swan shrugging the tag of Cameron Ling in the first quarter. That Lee Brown goal, bounce. Shane Warne, eat your heart out. Just a magnificent game, magnificent performance. Revenge from '07 and '09. Finally able to get over Geelong here, knock them out. And we thought at the time this was the end of Geelong's dynasty. Mark Bomber Thompson left the club. Chris Scott comes in and fucking hell. Geelong, 15 years later, just dominant still. But the 2010 prelim final for me, the greatest team performance ever from Collingwood. I know we won the 2010 grand final and the 2023 grand final, but in terms of a complete overall performance, the 2010 prelim final is up there for me, the best performance overall. The 2011 prelim final, 15 years old, and I had heart palpitations. I thought I had a heart attack here. 10-8, 68 to Hawthorn, 9-11, 65. Not so much four quarters here, but the final quarter in particular. 17 points down at three-quarter time, 20 wins, 2 losses heading into the final series. We lost to Geelong by nearly 100 points. I was at that game. We scraped by West Coast in the qualifying final, won by 20 points. Heading into this prelim final against Hawthorn, they had their tails up here, and they're on their way at three-quarter time. Sam Mitchell kicks a set shot goal to go up by 3 goals, and Dennis Cometti says they're on their way. Couldn't believe it at the time, but we were able to bounce back and win by 3 points. Chris Dawes kicking a goal, Leon Davis kicking a goal, Travis Cloke kicking a set shot goal as well. That was nervous at the time. Luke Bowles, match winner with 2.5 minutes left. But the goal that sticks out in that final quarter, and got to be honest, Lance Franklin's dribbling goal. He's kicked over 1,000 goals in his lifetime, and that's probably in his top 5. Had they won that game, that was probably going to be his best goal ever, or one of the best goals ever, but it's still in my top 5, in my opinion. Eddie McGuire turning purple, celebrating. Mick Bolthouse crying after the siren. Just magnificent euphoria. But the moment that sticks out was Dale Thomas running down Cyril Rioli, 40 seconds left. We had it congested with 40 seconds left off a stoppage or boundary throw in our forward half. Hawthorn were able to get it out. Handball to Cyril Rioli. He's looking up for options. Couldn't find anything. Dale Thomas comes in, running tackle, and we're able to milk the clock from there. Just overall euphoria. A lot of good wins that don't turn out to be anything of substance the week later. We lost the grand final to Geelong the week later. Wasn't to be, but a very close prelim final win. Sets me up to adulthood where we win close prelim finals or have close prelim final games. But 2011 prelim, 15 years old, and I nearly had a heart attack. Thank you, Collingwood. 4 prelims in a row, 2012, we faced Sydney up there. Now, we had a 7-year win streak over Sydney here. We were winning games at home and away up there against Sydney. So we went into this game with a bit of confidence, but we were emotional, I guess, exhausted as well because John McCarthy passed away before the semi-final win. Emotional win last week against West Coast there. And I think we were just emotionally fried and mentally drained facing Sydney. 10-10, 70 to Sydney, 13-18, 96. They could have won by a lot more. We didn't kick a goal for basically a half a footy. We kicked our third goal early second quarter, and we didn't kick a goal or the next goal until late third quarter. Chris Tarrant, final game for us. He went down forward, kicked a few goals, or just 1 or 2 goals. I don't know. I have to double check. Again, just my overall recollection. Sydney, dominant. The moment that sticks out in that game, obviously, was Lewis Jetta running from halfback all the way to the goal square. Open field. Nathan Brown kept up with him and just, oh, God bless his soul. Yeah, they won that game by quarter time, 27-point lead at quarter time, I think it was, and we were nowhere near it. We got back to about a few goals late final quarter, but couldn't crack it. But we finished 4th, made the prelim, and we didn't make another prelim for 6 years under Nathan Buckley. But the 2018 prelim final win over Richmond, one of the greatest wins in my lifetime, one of the all-time great upset wins in finals footy history. Beating Richmond, the minor premiers, the reigning premiers, the undisputed reigning defending undisputed champions, whatever. Have them put Mayo on this. 15-7-97 to Richmond 8-10-58. The Mason Cox legacy game. 3 goals, a whopping, I don't know how many contested marks, but contested marks galore. Jordan DeGoey, 4 goals, made Alex Rancey's bitch. Levi Greenwood tagging Dustin Martin, but Dustin Martin was a bit banged up, let's be real. But Levi Greenwood doing his thing. A lot of players doing their thing. Travis Varco, selfless up forward. Steel side bottom, 40-plus disposals. And one of the all-time great wins over Richmond. One of the great wins in my lifetime. Obviously, we lost the 2018 grand final. If we make the grand final next week, then I'll talk about that a little bit more. But we made the 2019 prelim. This was my first ever prelim final I ever attended. A first date as well at the time. The first final I ever attended was a 2018 semi-final win over GWS. And I thought, and this is my mistake, and I think a few other Collingwood fans had this as well, I thought we were going to win this game over GWS. They won a close game over Brisbane. They finished 6th. I thought, all right, we beat the minor premiers in Geelong. We should be able to beat GWS here. And we lost. in a wet weather game by 4 points, 7-10-52 to GWS 8-8-56. We didn't kick a goal for basically a half. We were up at half time, 3-2-20 to 2-5-17. My God, that third quarter gives me the shits to this day. Brodie Grundy had 70-plus hit-outs here. But come back in the final quarter, we were down by 33 points, 8-8-56 to 3-5-23. We kicked the final 4 goals, 5 here. We got it back to 4 points with 5 or 6 minutes left, and we couldn't kick a goal to run out the clock. All congested in that final quarter in that forward half, forward 50, and we lost. The one that got away, and we got a bullshit grand final in 2019. So, wasn't the B. Stayed with that girl for 2.5 years. Wasn't the B for her for the 2019 season. Oh man, that sticks out like a sore thumb. I was arrogant. I was cocky. I thought we were going to win this game against GWS. Wasn't the B. But our next prelim was the 2022 prelim over Sydney. And we lost another close one there by a point, 14-10-94 to Sydney 14-11-95. Just give us 2 more minutes. We could have overran Sydney there. But a fair effort for a tremendous season in 2022. I wasn't even upset as well losing this game. My expectations, I thought we were no hope beating Sydney here. They got out to a 5-6 goal lead third quarter. And I just thought, it's a tremendous season. We had no expectations heading into 2022. Some people had us as wooden spooners. We finished 4th, magical run. We knocked Carlton out of finals. Almost beat Geelong in the qualifying final. We took care of Freo in the semi-final, losing by a point to Sydney. Give us 2 more minutes. We could have won this game. First season for Nick Dacos. Didn't expect a lot from him. Jack Ginnivan had a good season here. Jordan Agoy was tagged in this game. But the run and dash and carry game from us in the second half over Sydney just screamed Collingwood footy right there. But wasn't a B, lost by a point. Now, I've talked about recollections of the games overall here. I have a story about what happened after the game for me personally. Now, we beat Carlton to knock them out of finals, end of the home and away 2022 season. Josh Dacos made a post on Instagram that season at the time, just mocking Carlton. A lot of Carlton fans took the bait. I got involved as well, mocking Carlton fans. I left a comment read along the lines of like, Carlton fans, don't worry, you'll bounce back next week. Oh, wait, never mind. Hashtag night night, something along those lines. Basically, just a hook, line, and sinker jab at Carlton. They took the bait, and we lost to Sydney by a point here. Didn't think much of it. I stayed off social media at the time. I checked social media Sunday morning, and I get a bunch of notifications and messages from Carlton fans just giving me shit for it. I thought it'd be Sydney fans. No, it was Carlton fans giving me shit for this. A lot of Carlton fans, not even burner accounts, like proper Carlton fans, single fathers of 2, successful people as well, giving me shit. A lot of death threats, abuse, and whatnot. I reckon I'll make a video talking about this because it was fucking unreal at the time, and it's also a reason why I barely use social media anymore. Carlton fans to hold a grudge for 3 weeks to give me shit, to go through Collingwood players and comment sections just to give me shit, notifications, DMs, death threats, abuse, and whatnot, threats of violence, you name it. Carlton fans, go fuck yourselves. We won a flag the next year and you haven't done anything of success in the last 30 years. But we lost a 2022 prelim final to Sydney. The next week, Sydney get thrashed. Something in that. Something in that. We lose a close prelim final, and then the next week it's just a shellacking. 07, we lose a close one. Port Adelaide get flogged. 2019, we lose a close one. GWS get flogged. 2022, we lose a close one. Geelong flogged Sydney. 2023, 11th prelim in my lifetime. I attended this game. 97,000 in attendance. 90,000 Collingwood fans, 1,000 GWS fans, and 1,000 MCC members, whatever. Probably not 1,000, but it was mostly Collingwood fans. For the fans, I was 3 rows back in the Shane Warne stands, level 4, and a 1-point win, 8-10-58 to 8-9-57. My goodness, I didn't even notice the fireworks, but that final 10 minutes, what a slog. Barely inside anyone's forward 50. Midfield slog, stoppages galore, few missed opportunities for either team to run away with the game or somehow get the win. I remember Toby Green having a random check side shot, still side bottom intercepting on the line. Jordan Agoy's best game ever. Nick Dacos' first game back from his leg injury against Hawthorn about a month prior and winning this game by a point. What an atmosphere this was. Much better at the game live compared to watching the replay and obviously winning the grand final next week. And what do I do to celebrate? I call my ex-girlfriend and give her shit for it. She was a GWS fan. She saw the 2019 prelim final win over us. We attended a few other games and whatnot, but we were broken up here, gave her shit for it, and I haven't spoken to her since. So humble. I was humble here, not against her, but I was humble here. So 1 point win. We faced Brisbane in the 2023 grand final, obviously winning that. So 11 prelims, 6 wins, 5 losses. And now I head into my 12th prelim against Brisbane. Hopefully it's 7 wins, 5 losses. Hopefully it's not 6 wins, 6 losses. Hopefully it's a win. Hopefully we make another grand final when I can make more grand final story videos and just talk about recollections and memories and whatnot. But pretty straightforward here. That's all for this video. Just want to say, I love you guys so much. I'm not sure what's going to happen Saturday twilight or Saturday night. My next upload will be the review of the prelim final, win, loss, or draw, or extra time. Not reactionary. If we lose, I'll set up for Sunday morning, swallow my pride and whatnot. If we win, fucking excellent. I hope you guys have a good week or enjoy the rest of your week. And I hope you guys enjoy the game Saturday twilight. I'll leave you guys all to it. Be well, stay safe.
Up the play!